to perceiving the Bible in the wrong way. See, they need to do this to bring you into an antichrist society. All right? Now, the lie that King James had sex with his mother, that's another bold-faced lie. Somebody tell me, when did King James have the opportunity to do this? His father was murdered in 1567. He was only 13 months. His mother was dethroned and imprisoned temporarily in 1567 because, why? They suspected that she had something to do with King James' father's murder. So she was actually in prison the same year. She again was arrested for 19 years based on those allegations. She was arrested a year later. King James is 2 years old. His mother was executed in 1587. Okay? So someone tell me, when did King James have the opportunity to sleep with his mother? Don't ever accept the rumors and lies, because they have always lied on us. What do you think they do on the news? All day long. All day long. And when we're innocent of a crime, they'll pull out something that happened. Well, he was arrested when he was 15 over there was some alleged drug peddling or some alleged assault. They still try to smear us backwards, so that there's no level of respect towards us. Even if we're innocent, they'll always bring up something that happened 15, 20 years ago to try to smear us. Well, he do have a record of, or she had a record of against police and was incarcerated 30 years ago. This is how they portray us. While they portray themselves in great nobility, the Queen of England with a crown and the Prince, cause are thieves. Now, here's another rumor they have out there. Well, King James tampered with the Bible. The Bible was tampered with. Listen, you need not tamper with a book if the minds of the people are tampered with. I would rather research the book and find it to be true than to just go with some excuse that have been tampered with when there haven't been any research to say that, to prove that the Bible was tampered with. Now, of course, a few words were translated because translated wrongfully, like the word Easter shouldn't be in the Bible. But should I throw out the whole Bible because one word have been translated a certain type of way under not under King James, but under the cause all powers, the Roman Catholic Church, so that they can bring in paganism? No, I'll just go into the concordance and see what the word was before it was translated, but still uphold the record, because the overall message of the Bible is powerful and it's liberating to our people. So I'm not going to throw out the whole Bible because of a few words. But they would like you to. So they claim that King James tampered with the Bible. Well, that's another allegation and lie. All right? King James was not responsible for touching the Bible. Matter of fact, he had no hand in the Bible when it comes to him personally doing anything. All right? The reason King James authorized the translation is Bible prophecy in itself. Let's go to Isaiah the 28th chapter.
Isaiah chapter 28, verse 11.
Read.
For with stammering lips and another tongue will he speak to this people.
Read it again.
For with stammering lips and another tongue will he speak to this people.
For with stammering lips and another tongue will he speak to this people. Telling us that the Most High will speak to his people. What? With a stammering lip and a new tongue. So the Bible is telling us that our people would need another language to communicate with the Most High. That the Hebrew language would be lost. So the Most High would speak to us in the future in a stammering lip and a new tongue. And that's why King James Version was translated out of the original tongues. Because the Most High needed to speak to his people in the last days. His people went into captivity, learned another language, a new tongue. So the Most High will put his spirit on this king, one of the last kings, the last black king of Judah, to translate, to get translators in one room to fulfill this prophecy, so that when the Most High began to awaken his people, they would have a record of what happened to their forefathers. See? Starting to make sense? So there's many of our people who are just right out ignorant, that repeat the banner, the banter that King James was a homosexual, slept with his mother. You're just outright ignorant of history. And you want to believe that. Why? Because you've been brainwashed. Okay? The Bible is not a white man's book. The people of the Bible are black. If the Bible was a white man's book, wouldn't they have put themselves up in the Bible to be white people? Wouldn't it say in Revelation, the first chapter, that they were white? Wouldn't it say that, they would have taken out the point that Moses was black? They would have took out the point that Moses' sister Miriam was black. It tells us all in the scriptures that these people are black people, people of color. Let's go to Deuteronomy 28 and 49, so that we can get an understanding of why King James had to authorize the translation of the Bible.
It says, the Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far.
It says the Lord will bring a nation against thee from far.
From the end of the earth.
From the end of the earth.
As swift as the eagle flieth.
As swift as the eagle flieth. So what people overtook our people? The eagle. The eagle represents Rome. Edom. Now, who's the eagle? Hold that and get the book of Obadiah, the first chapter and the first verse. So the Edomites would come against our people and eventually would teach us a new language, right? You got it. Let's go to Obadiah 1 and 1. Let's see who the eagle is.
Obadiah verse 1. The vision of Obadiah. Thus saith the Lord power.
Go ahead.
Concerning Edom.
Concerning Edom. When we know Edom was the twin brother of Jacob, who lost his birthright, who sold his birthright and lost his blessing. Who have the hierarchy of Edom have become the arch enemy of the children of Israel. So of course they would lie on our great kings. Let's read what this vision.
Verse 4. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle.
Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle. And set thy nest.
And though thou set thy nest among the stars. Thence will I bring thee down, saith the Most High.
So they would eventually use their technology to go into space. That's Edom. That's Rome. Those are Edomites. So they have lied. And they were behind beheading our beloved King James. They were behind killing him. And they put Germans or Khazars on the throne. And the families that are ruling the earth today from Britain are not Jews. They are not who you think they are. They're Edom. They're the Roman monarchy reassumed. They have taken back the thrones that our people took during the Dark Ages. They're Edom. Edom, who was the father of the pure blood Caucasians, because all white people are not from Edom. Just the top families. A lot of white people that are out there have mixed blood or have mixed with our people, and that's why they're looking to depopulate and destroy the plebs or the lower of their people who have mixed their blood with us. It was out of Edom that both the Grecians and the Romans descended. Two nations whose national emblem is the eagle. Now listen to this clearly. They were responsible for enslaving our people. And who is that? Judah. So, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. When our people was taken from the shores of Africa with the exception of a few learned men. Had long forgotten our forefathers, we've forgotten our original tongue, which was Hebrew. It was under our captivity in America and other areas, like the some parts of Britain they had slaves, and in the West Indian Islands, Haiti. We forgot our language and began to pick up a new language. Now, we were totally separated from our Hebrew tongue. King James, this black man right here, understood who he was and who his people were. He also knew who the enemies of his people were. Predominantly, the Roman Catholic Church had a problem, and under secret societies would look to destroy us in the future. So he had to put some scholars together to protect us, to give us some beacon of light in the future when the Most High would begin to awaken our people. Now, so he also knew the enemies that were against him would eventually engage us. He had our original sacred texts, which were protected under him at this time, translated into the language that will be given to us by our oppressors. That was an act of the Most High. The fact can and will be proven today that King James' epistle, the dedication he had within his record, which is contained in the front of the Bible, it tells us his purpose, and we're going to read that today. That King James actually put in the book, the beginning of the book, his purpose for bringing all the scholars together to translate the greatest record on earth. See? So why he didn't pen or touch the Bible itself from Genesis to Revelations, he actually wrote and penned himself. The reason he got all these authorities and translators together. He tell us why. And see, because of this, the Vatican said, well, we can no longer uphold the King James Version. We must now switch it off and give people the NIV. Because the NIV and the new Bibles took King James' monologue out of the book, of his purpose for translating the book. And you would never guess who's the publishers of the new NIV. The same publishers of the Luciferian Bible and the Satanic Bible. Yes, same publishers. Now, getting back on course here. Before we bring forth this information, we would first like to prove to you all, you brothers and sisters that are viewing this, that King James had nothing to do with any mistranslation of the Bible over time. This information can be found in the Zondervan Bible Dictionary. And when you go to this definition for Bible, you will also see that the definition is broken down into subdivisions. One of the subdivisions is King James Version. When you read this definition, it explains the following. Read that out of the Zondervan.
It says, in the course of time.
In the course of time.
Slight alterations were made.
Slight alterations were made.
Especially in spelling to conform to changing usage. But these were all done by piecemeal, or done piecemeal by private enterprise.
By private enterprise. So that's telling us that the Zondervan Dictionary admits that there have been slight changes to the Bible, not by King James, not by those he authorized to translate the book. All right? But instead by private enterprise. Now, who in control of private enterprise in publishing today? Pagans, the Jewish Khazars, these atheists, these people who are behind publishing all literature. So, of course, they would switch certain things to actually promote their paganism within our record. So the onus is on us to throw out the things they changed for enterprise. Now, a private enterprise is basically defined as a business or system controlled, usually publishers, who profit from the literature. So instead of government or agencies we know that the biggest culprits that's behind private enterprise